Night settles over Maple Hollow in the gentlest way, drifting down like a warm blanket that wraps itself around the quiet little town. You feel it settle, soft and steady, as though the whole world is exhaling. The last traces of daylight soften into a muted lavender glow before slipping away entirely, leaving the sky a deep, velvety blue. Lanterns flicker to life one by one, glowing in windows and along porches, casting warm halos across cobblestones and wooden steps. The air carries the scent of pine, cool earth, and a faint hint of wood smoke from distant chimneys. It is the kind of night Maple Hollow does best, peaceful, unhurried, and full of quiet wonder. Inside Daniel's cottage, the final lamp burns low. You drift near the ceiling, quiet and unseen, watching the warm glow stretch across the wooden floor. Daniel stands in the small kitchen, humming softly as he wipes down the counter. The gentle rhythm of his movements blends with the soft hush of the cottage. Shadows stretch toward the walls like sleepy fingers. Everything feels calm, lived in, familiar, the kind of place where the night always seems to settle a little more softly. Pip sits on the windowsill, watching the deepening night with bright, curious eyes. His tail curls neatly around his paws, and his whiskers twitch as he leans forward, taking in the world outside. You hover near him, feeling the quiet anticipation in the air. He has been watching the sky shift for several minutes, following the slow fade of color with the patient attention only a cat could manage. Daniel glances over with a small smile. "Thinking about going out for a bit, huh?" he says quietly. Pip gives a tiny sound, the kind that means yes. Daniel nods, as though he understands every nuance. "All right. Just stay close to town." Pip hops down from the windowsill and pads to the door, his steps soft and silent. He waits patiently, tail flicking once in anticipation. Daniel opens the door slowly, letting the cool night air drift inside. Pip slips out, tail flicking again in thanks, and Daniel watches him go with a fond, quiet smile before closing the door behind him. You drift after Pip, following him into the night. The lantern by the railing glows with a warm, steady light, casting soft shadows across the wooden boards. Pip pauses on the porch, taking in the world. His ears twitch as he listens, the gentle rustle of leaves, the distant murmur of the creek, the soft creak of a porch swing somewhere down the street. Everything feels peaceful, familiar, and inviting. He steps off the porch and begins his walk. His paws make no sound on the cobblestones as he moves through the quiet streets. You float just behind him, weightless, carried by the soft rhythm of the night. The air wraps around you like a cool, gentle blanket. Pip stops first at the bakery, where the scent of cooling bread lingers in the air. The metal awning above the door still holds a bit of warmth from the day, and Pip presses his side against it, enjoying the gentle heat. You feel the warmth too, faint and distant, like a memory brushing past. Pip lingers there for a long moment, eyes half closed, letting the warmth seep into his fur. The bakery always smells comforting: flour, sugar, a hint of cinnamon. Even at night, the scent clings to the air like a memory. Pip breathes it in, whiskers lifting slightly, before continuing on. You drift beside him as he moves toward the library. The library stands tall and peaceful, its lanterns glowing softly beneath the eaves. Pip pauses at the steps, listening to the faint hum of the old building settling into the night. He hops up one step, then another, then sits beneath the warm glow of the lantern. The light shimmers across his fur, giving him a soft, golden outline. As he sits there, something catches your attention. The lantern above the library door flickers, not in the usual way lanterns waver in the breeze, but in a slow, rhythmic pattern. A gentle pulse. A soft glow that brightens, dims, brightens again. Pip tilts his head, watching closely. You hover beside him, feeling the faint shift in the air. The pattern repeats once, then again, then fades back into a steady glow as though nothing unusual had happened. Pip blinks slowly. The lantern has never done that before. You wait with him, but the light remains steady. The breeze rustles the leaves overhead, and the night continues on as though nothing has changed. Pip rises, gives the lantern one last curious look, and moves on. You drift after him, feeling the quiet mystery settle into the night. The creek calls to him next. He follows the familiar path, the grass cool beneath his paws. Fireflies drift lazily above the water, blinking in slow, dreamy patterns. Their reflections shimmer on the surface of the creek, stretching and rippling with the gentle current. Pip watches them for a long moment, head tilted slightly, eyes reflecting the soft golden light. You hover beside him, feeling the calm of the water settle into you. He pads onto the wooden footbridge, the boards creaking gently beneath his small weight. The creek murmurs below, steady and soothing. Pip leans over the railing, whiskers twitching as he watches the water glide past. A soft breeze ruffles his fur, and he closes his eyes, letting the cool air wash over him. Then he notices it again. A lantern on the far side of the creek, one that hangs from a post near the path, flickers in the same slow, rhythmic pattern he saw at the library. A gentle pulse. A soft glow that brightens, dims, brightens again. Pip's ears perk, and he watches closely. You drift beside him, feeling the faint hum beneath the air. The pattern repeats twice, then fades back into a steady glow. Pip blinks, puzzled. The lanterns in Maple Hollow are old, but they don't usually behave like that. And certainly not in matching patterns. He watches the lantern for another long moment, but it remains steady, glowing softly in the night. He continues across the bridge, moving slowly, unhurried. You drift above him, feeling the night deepen around you. The fireflies drift in lazy arcs, their lights blinking like tiny stars brought down to earth. Pip follows the path toward the hill, his steps soft and steady. The old guest house stands quietly at the top, its lantern swaying gently in the breeze. The warm glow spills across the steps, and Pip curls up in the patch of light, letting the warmth seep into his fur. You hover nearby, feeling the gentle heat radiate upward. The stone beneath him holds the last traces of the day's warmth, and he stretches out, paws extended, enjoying the gentle comfort. The guest house always has a peaceful feeling at night, a sense of quiet hospitality, as though it is waiting patiently for morning guests. Pip blinks slowly, his eyes half closed, listening to the soft creak of the sign above the door as it sways in the breeze. He stays there for a long moment, letting the warmth settle into him. The stars shimmer above the rooftops, bright and steady. The town grows quieter still, settling into its peaceful rhythm. Eventually, Pip rises and continues his journey. You drift behind him as he makes his way toward the trolley station, drawn by the soft glow of the lanterns and the faint metallic scent of the rails. The old trolley rests in its place, still and quiet, its windows reflecting the night sky. Pip hops onto the platform, sniffing the wooden planks before rubbing his cheek against the post. The trolley always smells faintly of warm dust and pine, a scent he finds comforting. Then he sees it again. The lantern at the far end of the platform flickers in the same slow, rhythmic pattern. A gentle pulse. A soft glow that brightens, dims, brightens again. Pip watches intently, tail flicking once in curiosity. You hover beside him, feeling the faint shift in the air. The pattern repeats once, then fades. Pip sits down, staring at the lantern. 3 lanterns. 3 identical flickers. 3 gentle pulses that feel almost intentional. But the night remains calm. The breeze is soft. The town is quiet. Nothing feels out of place, only quietly unusual. He stays on the platform for a while, listening to the faint hum of the rails cooling in the night air. The lantern remains steady, glowing softly. Pip blinks slowly, then rises and pads down the hill. You drift after him, feeling the quiet mystery settle deeper into the night. He follows the winding path toward the small meadow at the edge of town. The grass brushes gently against his sides as he walks, cool and soft beneath his paws. Fireflies drift here too, their lights blinking in slow, dreamy patterns. Pip watches them dance, his tail flicking in quiet fascination. You hover beside him as he sits in the meadow, listening to the distant sounds of Maple Hollow, the soft hum of lanterns, the gentle whisper of the creek, the faint rustle of leaves in the breeze. Everything feels calm, peaceful, exactly as it should be. And yet, the memory of the lanterns lingers. He lies down in the grass, stretching out his paws. The earth beneath him is cool and firm, grounding him. The sky above is wide and open, dotted with stars that shimmer like tiny lanterns. Pip blinks slowly, letting the quiet settle into him. You drift above him, feeling the night wrap around you like a soft blanket. After a long, peaceful rest, Pip rises and begins his journey home. He moves slowly, unhurried, taking in every soft sound and gentle glow. The lanterns along the street flicker softly, casting warm pools of light across the cobblestones. None of them flicker in the strange pattern now. They glow steadily, as they always have. When he reaches the cottage, the lantern by the door is still lit. Daniel sits on the porch, leaning back in his chair, a blanket draped loosely across his lap. He looks up as Pip approaches, a warm smile spreading across his face. "There you are," Daniel says softly. "Have a good wander." Pip makes a small, sleepy sound and hops into Daniel's lap. Daniel strokes his back gently, fingers moving in slow, soothing lines. "You saw it, didn't you?" Daniel murmurs, voice low and calm. "The lanterns." Pip blinks slowly. Daniel smiles, the kind of smile that holds quiet understanding. "They do that sometimes. Only on the calmest nights. Maple Hollow has its little ways." He doesn't explain further. He doesn't need to. His voice holds no worry, no concern, only warmth, familiarity, and a kind of gentle acceptance that makes Maple Hollow feel like home. "Let's head inside," Daniel whispers. He stands, carrying Pip with him, and opens the door. You drift in behind them, feeling the warmth of the cottage wrap around you. Pip curls up on his favorite blanket near the fireplace, and Daniel settles into his chair beside him. The night outside continues its gentle song, the creek murmuring, the leaves rustling, the lanterns glowing softly. Inside, everything is warm and still. Pip drifts into sleep. Daniel closes his eyes. And Maple Hollow rests around you, peaceful and calm, its quiet mysteries settling into the night like soft, glowing secrets meant only for those who wander gently.